welcome back to my channel. I'm Trophie. So today I'm finally getting around to doing my classroom tour. I live in Houston, so if you guys, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that Hurricane Harvey hit, so school was actually pushed back 2 weeks. So we are like, this is the 3rd day of school, so I'm finally able to film my classroom tour. So if you guys want to see my classroom tour, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so this is an overview of my classroom when you first walked in. If you watched my classroom tour last year it was safari themed. This year I just decided to do colors, just bright colors everywhere. So if we walk over to the right, you see I have a couple of posters, a satisfying paragraph poster, and then I have another poster that says more words to say, just different kind of words, so they won't be using the same old boring words over and over again. So this is kind of like a little writing section. And then I have this bulletin board right here which says amazing work. So this is where we will showcase our amazing class work, and I just have it blank because school literally just started 2 days ago, so I haven't had anything to put up there yet. This rocket is still a work in progress. This is the reading rocket, and this is where I will store all of the reading levels and everything like that. Let me move this out the way. My plan is to put Velcro squares all over, and then I'm going to have the other side stick to it, so they'll have their numbers on it, and not their names but their numbers, and then they'll be able to see their number as they move up. In 2nd grade they should start coming at a level J, and they should leave at a level M or N. So we are in this red and green range, but you know, of course some kids come a little lower and then some kids come a little higher. So this covers pretty much everyone. Last year I had the cups that had their reading levels on it, but this year I decided to do this way it could have their numbers, so that, you know, everybody wouldn't know their reading level, because let's say they have a lower reading level, they may not want the whole class to know, so no one's embarrassed, and it's a pretty good way for them to track their reading level so they can be, you know, motivated to get it all the way up there. So let's go over to this side of the room. This is my read aloud / library section. This is my little library, and it's pretty much the same as last year. This library is not organized at all, you guys. I need to organize it like badly, but it looks organized. It looks organized. So I have my bins labeled by fiction and nonfiction, A through F nonfiction books, A through F fiction books, and I do that for every couple of levels. So inside of each bucket there's a range of levels, and they can just, you know, go by their reading level and pick books that are just right for them. I have a couple stuffed animals that my coworker gave me. Down here is the genres, the different reading genres, and it just gives a little information about each one, so they can, you know, have that in their head and they can know it. I'm actually missing some, and I need to find them because it's like way more than this, but I don't know where they are. I just don't know. So this board looks really busy. Let's go ahead and start on this side. This is the data. So I have 2 different classes, so that's why I have 2 different data circles. My coworker gave me the idea to do this. I don't have the clips yet, but I'm gonna put clothespins all on these, and then whatever color, depending on what grade they get on their test, that's where they'll move their clips every single week, and their clips will have their numbers on them as well. Each kid has a number, so I use their numbers for their data, I use it for their reading rocket and for their lockers and pretty much everything, so they know their numbers. And then over here is the score. So if you're 100 to 90, that is blue. 89 to 80 is green. 79 to 65, 64 to 55, and then 54 and below. So then you see I have the emojis to, you know, pretty much just like give them an idea of, you know, what's considered an acceptable grade and what's not considered an acceptable grade. Moving on to this section, these are my hot questions, which stands for higher order thinking questions. So these are supposed to be the questions that really get the students to think. And then this section is our vocabulary words. Right now we're reading chrysanthemum, so these are a couple of vocabulary words. This is our daily schedule. Pretty simple. Whenever they ask me, where do we go today, I say look at the board. Like I try to have answers to all of their questions like around the classroom, so they don't have to ask me anything, so they can, you know, think for themselves and be independent, because I hate like all the questions all day long. It kind of gets annoying. This is our reading rotation station. I don't have the names on there yet because I haven't tested the students. after I do running records and test them on their reading levels, I know what groups they're in. So basically their names go on this card. So let's say that this is one group. For that day, that group will go to read to self, and then they'll go to computers. The next day, I'll move all the cards down, and then of course the last card will go up. And so the next day, they'll go to work on writing and word work. So this board ensures that they go to everything every week, or almost everything every week. So my stations are read to self, computer, work on writing, word work, read to someone, language arts. I already said work on writing, I already said read to self. So it pretty much repeats itself. These are the books that we read this week. We read First Day Jitters on the first day of school. And yesterday and today we read Chrysanthemum, and we're gonna read it again because it's like different activities that we do every day to go along with the book. This is a really good book to read the first week of school because it talks about, you know, kindness and treating others fairly, bullying. It's like a whole bunch of different topics that you can cover with this book. Up here are our prompts when they come to the carpet. So sometimes I have them turn and talk, and if they can't think of anything to say, they can start by saying some of these sentence starters. So these prompts are pretty much there to help the students when they're responding to each other, because sometimes it's hard for them to start a conversation. They don't know what to say next. Like if I say turn and talk to your partner, one partner may talk, but the other person's just looking like, so they need to, you know, converse back and forth. They may say something like, I disagree because, and they give their opinion, or I agree because. They have to always say because. Like that's a big thing in my class, because I need to know why. Don't just tell me an answer. You need to tell me why at all times. Up here we have Magic 5, mouths closed, ears listening, pretzel legs, hands folded in the lap, and eyes forward. That's how they sit when they come to the carpet. And I just say Magic 5 and they know what to do. They have to check themselves and make sure they have all of that done. I love Magic 5. It's just perfect. It's good for classroom management. This is going to be our reading comprehension board. Right now I only have a couple of things up there, but as the year goes by and as the weeks go by, my classroom is going to be so full of anchor charts that it's ridiculous. So I like to start it off with just a couple of things. I have one poster, 3 ways to read a book, and then fiction versus nonfiction. But trust me, after a couple of weeks, this board is going to be full. My classroom is going to be looking crazy. This board is called a cafe menu, and this board pretty much just teaches them all the skills to become good readers. They have different categories: comprehension, accuracy, fluency, and expanded vocabulary. So far today we actually talked about check for understanding. So that's one of the skills that they are learning underneath comprehension, and each category has a certain skill. The skill was whenever they're reading, for them to pause and to think about what they read to make sure that they understood, and if they don't understand, then they can go back and reread so that they can check their own understanding. So basically cafe is just teaching them how to monitor themselves and work on, you know, being better readers with different types of little skills and things like that. This area over here is my guided reading area. I haven't started guided reading yet. I'm probably not going to start for the 3rd or 4th week because it takes a while to get the students, you know, used to stations and everything, and you can't really start guided reading until they know all of the rules and the procedures and they practice their station. So this is just my little area where I have my book, I have my bell to tell them when to switch stations, I have my data, I keep my materials, whiteboards and things like that in this area. This board, I have no clue what it's going to be. I have no clue at all, but we're gonna figure it out one day. This is the classroom jobs board. I'm gonna put popsicle sticks, for right now I have sticky notes with the students' names on it. I have line leader, door holder, paper passer, caboose, and then we have king of the jungle, queen of the jungle, boys restroom monitor, and girls restroom monitor. Up top we have our class rules, good listening tips. I call it that the listening position. They have to always get into that when they're paying attention, and like especially this week I'm drilling them on being in a listening position. No playing with your pencils, no kicking your neighbor. You got to be in a listening position. Of course you have the Pledge of Allegiance. This area over here is where I keep my objectives of the week. We have our reading objectives. This week we're talking about character traits and nouns, writing stories, and then for social studies, patriotic songs. And I only teach reading, language arts, writing, and social studies. I don't teach math or science. Up there I have the writing process: pre-writing, drafting, editing, revising, evaluating, and publishing. Over here, this is our smart board that we use. I pretty much use it for a projector. This is my little teacher station where I have my projector, my computer, my Elmo, and I project things on there. But it can also be used like these little pens and everything. This is actually like a giant iPad. You can use it to write on it, so the kids can actually come up here and use these pens to write on it or solve a problem or something like that. It's really good for math. I mean, or it could be good for anything really, because there's tons of things you can do on it. But then you can come up here and solve stuff and then erase it. But of course, it won't actually write on the board. So that's why I kind of think of it like a giant iPad. It's pretty cool. It's like technology at its finest. Over here, this is the activity that we did on the first day of school. I had categories. How did you feel on the first day of school? Excited, nervous, sad, angry, afraid? Question mark, if in case they felt like a totally different way. And then they were supposed to write, they were supposed to draw how they felt, write it, and then on the back they were supposed to write a sentence about how they felt. So most of them were excited or nervous. A few of them were angry, and then some of them were other. This is our classroom attendance chart. If they have an entire week of perfect attendance for the whole class, every single person is here every day, then I bring them something the following Monday off of this list, and they get to vote on it on Friday. So I'm hoping that they get some of these prizes. But if you're a teacher, then you know that it is super hard for the whole class to have perfect attendance for an entire week. So hopefully this inspires them to come to school every day, and we can have a little treat party every Monday. Up here are our second grade reading goals. I like to have these posted so they can remember what their goals are. Score 85 or higher on weekly tests. Their reading level goal is an M by the end of second grade. Snapshots are our district tests, so the goal is for them to score 85 on those as well. Fluency level of 100 words per minute. Like I said earlier, I teach social studies, so this is just a little social studies corner. I plan on incorporating social studies with reading anyway, so I didn't really think it was important to have an entire social studies section. So this is just the little social studies nook that we have right here. I have the map, have a globe, and I'll add more stuff to it as we you know, get into all of that. This is our little book section. Up here I have a couple of books that parents donated. They donated this book to my classroom. A parent donated this book to my classroom. This is a book that we made the year before last. My class made this, If I Were a Superhero. It's pretty cool because it's a published book. It's a hard copy, and it has like all of their stories inside of it, and it's really, we like work really hard on it. And then this is another one from last year. So this is the one from last year. This is the one from the year before that, and then this class is gonna make one of their own. This is my novel collection. I want to get more novels. Each year I try to get at least 2 or 3 more novels to add to my little collection. So the books that we have are Ramona the Brave. We have Judy Moody, Mood Martian. I always start the novel studies off with Flat Stanley because it's so freaking thin. It's like really thin, and it's simple and easy to read. So this is a good transition book. And then, you know, they get thicker and thicker. Like this one is really thick. Down here we have Frindle, and I love this book. I still love this book. Every time I read it, I just love it. It's really cool. It's about a boy who invented a word for a pen, and he gets famous and he gets rich for it, and it's really inspiring. So I read this like towards the end in the second semester, and they have a little project where they have to make up their own word. It's pretty cool. They love this book. I love this book. This one is A Good Night for Ghosts. I think I'm gonna read this one in October. This is a Magic Treehouse book, and it's about Louis Armstrong. They're on a mission to find him and, you know, let him know his true talent or something like that. Help him realize his true talent. So this is where I keep our computers. I haven't even cracked them open yet, but 4 kids can sit at this table, and once we start doing our stations, they'll come over here. And I also have a couple of iPads so they can work on those as well. This little bookshelf has my stations. I haven't finished making my stations. Like I said, I don't start stations till about the 3rd or 4th week of school, so I have a little bit of time to get those together. This is my teacher desk, which doesn't look that appealing, but oh well. Oh well. This is my little corner. It says Miss Douglas. It has the calendar. My desk isn't all that glamorous, but oh well. Over here is a work in progress. That's what it is, work in progress. Right now I'm still in the process of sorting all of their materials. Today we made our reading and writing journals, so we finally did that, and I put those over there. I have just all of our classroom materials, our paper. I have to sort out all of their folders and everything. So this is just looking real busy, but I'm gonna organize it a little bit more than this. Over here we have our pencil sharpener, and I do not let my students sharpen their pencils ever. I sharpen them because I just hate the sound of pencil sharpening, and it's just a waste of time to me, and it just gets on my nerves. So I have two bins. One says ready to write, and then the other one says sharpen please. So whenever their pencils break, they can put it in this bin, and then when they need a new pencil, they can have it right here. And I have tons and tons of pencils already sharpened, so they don't have to say I need a pencil, Miss Douglas. This is our word wall, and I already have words up there from the first day of school, the book we read. I have chuckled, moaned, jittered, slumped, and tunneled. So this board is basically just vocabulary words. Every time we read a new book, I add them to the board, and it gets full pretty quickly. So last year, I know I had the college bins. This year I didn't do that. I just did it all. Regular schmegular, table 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I have a couple of books. They don't have book bags yet, so I just put books in the middle of the table for those kids who say, I'm done, what do I do? They can just take out a book and they can read. I have pencils at their tables already sharpened for them, and then they have crayons, and all of their glue and scissors and everything else is over there. Okay guys, so that concludes my classroom tour. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want an updated classroom tour later on in the school year, and I will definitely put that out there for you all. Don't forget to leave your teacher video suggestions, and as always, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.